This is a great fly for the beginner to learn how to tie flies. This fly has been around for decades and is still a very effective pattern for many situations.
Well, here we are, folks. We'll get started here, the basics. I'm not going to take a lot of time getting right into when we invented the wheel here, but we're going to start with a hook. We want to know the shank is behind the eye, of course, right to the bend. Usually comes in above the point of the barb right here. There's the point of the fly. This is the point of the barb. This spot right here we're going to talk about a few times, okay? Comes around here, around the corner for the butt. This tail is always tied in there. There's mid shank, and we'll just use those for measurements. The hook becomes a measuring stick for our pattern, so you'll hear that a lot of times in patterns. It could be in a book or video or whatever you're following, so that'll give you a bit of an idea on that. You know, when you're following all my tying demos, I'm always doing that on my Norvise. This I'm going to be tying in a little crown vise here. We sold a bunch of these. There's a lot of them out there. A lot of my tires were really happy to use it. It's a clamp style and move it around. It's a inexpensive vise that'll definitely get the job done. Now we'll get our line started here. We're just going to wrap our thread back. Matter of fact, what I'm going to do on this fly here, just seems I got a dark background. You might not be able to pick it up on the video as much. I'm going to just give myself some chartreuse thread here, something bright. The nice thing about tying your flies, you can always trick them out. Like this chartreuse thread, for an example, would be a strike trigger. That would add a little bit to it. So we're just going to pop another spool on my bobbin. We'll get our thread come through our little bobbin threader. I'm sure you know a lot of this. Pretty basic stuff. I'm quite a ways from my vise here, so give me a little bit of time here to get everything organized. Everyone wants to come through. It's a lot easier when you can sit right up, look at your stuff. I'm a little ways away from it. Another little tip I want to pass on is when you get a bobbin, this has got a ceramic tip in it, which is quite important. Now you're going to get a lot of the more inexpensive starter type bobbins, maybe come with a kit or whatever else that does not have the ceramic tip in it. And that's to protect your thread, because there's nothing worse than having a thread that'll fray on you. That is the worst nightmare a fly tire can have. So if you have a steel one without the ceramic tip and there is a burr on there, what I do is take your thread and pull it all the way around, and as you're pulling it out, and see if it frays. And if it does, grab yourself not just simple little fix with a paper clip. Straighten it out and just burr that edge off in the inside until that's got that little burr off. There's just a little something in there, and that happens quite often. So I'm just telling you about a quick fix on that. Now we'll get this chartreuse thread on our shank. Just using a wet fly style hook here. I'm going to tie the first fly I tied, or showed anyone at our fly tying courses, where was the woolly worm. Pretty basic fly, still works quite well. I'll come in here with some red hackle fibers, and you're going to see this is the basis of a lot of different bugs what I'm going to do on this fly right here. And it's a simple pattern, but it's been around a long time, and people still fish it. It's a good fly. Just pinch those hackle fibers off the side of the feather. Got our tail tied in. We want that about the length of the gape, and the gape is, or the gap is between the shank and the point. That's how we measure the length of our tails for wet flies. And a lot of flies. It's usually the gape. Okay, now we'll come to the front here. We're going to add a little wire here for some reinforcement. I always like to have my flies as durable as possible. It's nice when we tie our own flies that we can customize and make them as strong as we can. A lot of times these manufactured flies aren't as strong as the ones we can tie. So here's another method. If you're laying it straight across, you can pinch. When we talk about pinching it, we got a finger on one side, thumb on the other side, and you pinch your material down to tie it in. Tie the wire back over itself, and away you go. And Another method would be this, is what I call catching, and we might as well talk about this right now. I'd come in at a 45-degree angle. Can you see me there? Yeah. With a 45, and that's catching. I'm a long way from my materials. You can catch that in, tie it back over itself. So that's a really easy way to do it. And so if I'm pinching or catching, now I got that, right? Okay, let's just take some chenille, and the woolly worm's tied with yellow chenille and olives and straight colors. Now we got all these newer materials coming out with all this sparkle stuff in them, and it's really a lot of really cool stuff out there to use. So I'm just going to take this forward. You see I've winding it, and my thread's coming up right behind the material all the way up. That makes it nice and tight. Get my head wound off pretty good. I'm going to level that out. Got my wire sitting here. Now I need some hackles. We're going to bring in some of our grizzly hackle. This is a grizzly saddle. The saddle comes off the back of the bird like this, which is usually a softer hackle, and a cape comes out underneath the breast of the bird, and that is a stiffer hackle, mostly used for dry flies. And you'll see here, when I pull this out, this is getting a little webby, a little bit light, but that's okay. We want it to breathe, so I want to get the size of it as well. So when I go to size my hackles, you can pull them down like that, and I want it just a little past the hook. Okay. So here's a little too wide, so I'm going to trim it back. And when I'm going to tie it in, we'll show you this, is we're going to just snip off a little piece right off the sides there. We'll leave a little bit of that stem exposed. And then when you catch it in, it stays, it doesn't pull out. Otherwise, you strip the fibers off the stem, it's slippery and it'll pull out on you. So when I do the collars, I'm going to go 2 or 3 on the front, and we're just going to come back for a little woolly worm. Boy, this fly's been around a long time. He's got a long pedigree. It's a good bug. So then I'll come around the back. I'll find my wire. There it is. And I'll just come over top, and I'm wrapping the same, but I'm coming from the front to the rear to the front. And I can turn it the same direction because now I'm getting it counter wrapped, reverse wrapped. You're going to hear those terms different places. Come to the front, you turn ahead, you got to turn behind. Ahead, behind, then you got to tie it off. Lay your scissors down, cut any wires anytime right down the bottom. You can helicopter it off. I just pull it against the scissor. My scissor blade just acts as a little knife and it cuts it off. Then we're going to build a nice bright head on there. Our little woolly worm. Here's a whip finish tool. I'm going to show you how to use that on the next fly or two. If you're not certain how to use that, it takes a little bit to get onto that simple little tool, but it wasn't that easy to learn. So you can come in here with a half hitch tool, just a hole in there, and you can take a turn and push that down. Got a half hitch. Put another half hitch. And you can also go 2 times if you want. And there you go. That got it all. Slice that off with your knife so you don't cut any hackles as you're coming through there. And you always put head cement on, and because you don't want these flies breaking off. But it's a great little pattern. It's easy to tie. Let's give you some of the basics. So you're going to see some of these next flies I'm coming up with. You're going to have the same technique as I just showed you on the woolly worm. So that's our foundation. We're going to start building from that. Let's go on to the next one.
Thanks for joining us today with our fly guy, Brent Schlenker. Check out his new videos on Brent's YouTube channel and Sport Fishing on the Fly.